to summarize as I continue.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yes. So we also saw the call of Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, and Abraham was undergoing transition when he was called from where he was to where God was calling him. So we realized that transitions sometimes they are inevitable and painful, including uncertainties, but we ought to respond and continue. We as well realized that we are supposed, and we realized that we have existing gaps. We are supposed to be able to adapt, and not because they are not there to last. So one of the existing gaps was the rise of online students, and then there was mainstreaming of ministry, and then yes, so there were some strategic plans that we went through. It was including it was the SPS strategic plans. So we had discipleship, social transformation, leadership development, and evangelism. We focused in each and every strategic plan, and we realized that all of them are related to the media and publicity ministry. So we are supposed to cooperate and be ready to be equipped with more so that we are able to aid in those strategic plans. So I believe that was at the end of it all. And we had some recommendations for our CUs, as well as people were challenged and some were learning. We saw that some CUs don't have trainings, while some were requesting that they have training, so which we have one right now. And some of the recommendations were given, and I believe also we'll have questions which it is in the program and we will be answered. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Joyce. That. And, apart from that, in fact, what she has shared is what we had done last time. Yeah. So some of the things we have discussed and help us to do as way forwards. First is having maps, which are, in fact, these maps are just ministry plans. There are goals which are achievable. We have there are goals which are smart. That is, and at one point they are broken down into simple, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And at one point we are required to achieve them. Then there's creation of social media accounts. If at all our unions are having these social media accounts and they exist, they should be active. We had some instances where some other CUs didn't have social media accounts, especially Facebook. Yep. And another way forward, organized for digital training at departmental levels. Apart from having such a session, in our various institutions, we were to have digital trainings, that is skill-based. And then finally, formation of DET, digital evangelistic teams. These are teams that at one point, in fact, it's like lifestyle evangelism, something that takes time for us to do. Having a team that is to help facilitate this. Yeah, we were to, each institution was to have one Yeah, we want to look into that as well. Yeah. And moving forward, there was something about the strategic plan, the 4 areas. That is evangelism, social transformation, we have discipleship, and leadership development. We had discussed these areas, and how we as the CU can actually chip in and make these areas and work in these areas specifically. Just a moment, trying to do something here. Yeah, we were supposed, that is in evangelism, we were having such areas like building capacity of CU members on digital evangelism. That is according to the strategic plan, establishing digital evangelistic teams. Then on the part of leadership development, we were to have organized skill-based trainings, which I had earlier mentioned. Then on discipleship, we were to run online small group Bible study incorporating online and non-resident students, then developing active digital library, form of ebooks, pods, and movies, then finally promoting content creation on emerging issues through blogs. And at one point, we are supposed to look into that. Then finally, social transformation, which is use of social media strategies for advocacy initiatives. Yeah. I believe you can see my screen, or
Nope.
oh, you can't. Let me try to do it once again. Yeah, you can see it now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
On the part that is digital and or media is one of the key enablers of the 4 strategic priority areas, that is evangelism, leadership development, discipleship, and social transformation. And looking at the enablers, the third enabler, or rather the 4th one, we are having investing in digital media and strategies. And that's the point at which we are at now as digital or as media teams. We are supposed to be helping in that. Yeah. Moving forward, I'd like to capture some data here with us and some statistics even as we begin before we do some basics about designs. Yeah, I'll just display all of this data, then share something about them. And from this data, statistics, in fact, on social media shows that more than 3.6 billion people are active users of social media, just like highlighted in the first picture. Then from this figure, Africans approximately spend about 190 minutes, that is converted to hours, that measures up to 3 hours and 10 minutes. And from that, 90% of the users mostly reach out to brands. And that poses a question to us. Have we been keen on branding our CUs? And we'll cover this on the design part, branding our CUs. We merging the logos together with, even at one point when one looks at the poster of the CU, is one able to relate that poster with that CU? Or maybe just to say, being consistent in the colors you are using, the colors of the logo match with the color of the institution. For example, looking at this PowerPoint presentation, you might note that the colors are consistent with the logo. We are seeing that at one point, maybe just to do some highlights, you can look at the logo here, and the colors, which are blue and orange, they are matching with the colors which have been used to design these areas in the PowerPoint. Yeah, so we ought, at any given time, we ought to be consistent and brand the CUs and any content that comes from the CU. Then going forward, 17% of Kenya's population, that is 8.8 million Kenyans, are actively using social media, with WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok attracting most active users. And that poses a question to us. Having 89% of these users using WhatsApp, that's a challenge to us. And what a good platform to reach out to fellow brothers and sisters. And at one point, we'll be asking ourselves, how have we been using these social media sites? Yeah, and going forward to the next slide, we have some data. I don't know if you might be able to see, they're quite small, but at a glance, people actively using various social media platforms. This is a summary of people actively using various social media platforms on a monthly basis. Having Facebook, for instance, just to mention but a few, Facebook, 2.9 billion people use it on a monthly basis. And on a daily basis, we have 1.9 billion. Just to skip some and go to cover Facebook, TikTok, and WhatsApp. TikTok is having 1 billion monthly users, and WhatsApp having 2 billion monthly users, with 500 million daily status user, 500 million people posting on their statuses on a daily basis. And we ought to ask ourselves, with these statistics, how can we reach out to our fellow brethren? And these are the points where these people are, or where people who are consuming this content that we are designing or purposing to designing are. They are on Facebook, they are on TikTok, they are on WhatsApp. So we are just going where they are. And these are good platforms to reach out to them. having WhatsApp and Facebook being a potential ground where one can reach a wider audience. And a question maybe we might ask ourselves, how do we do our posters? Are they captivating? Can someone look at it and at one point admire to even look further? And not only just doing posters for events. At some of the CUs I've seen they are doing daily devotionals. Devotionals, they're quoting some scriptures and some quotes. We can also consider having evangelistic pieces. Apart from just having those verses here and there, we can have posters covering in fact, doing some form of evangelism. At one point, I was sharing with those who attended the ministry summit that we can also use at one point, for example, in the chastity week, we might also use posters, videos to reach out to people on matters pertaining purity. So depending on the season you are in as a CU, posters can come in handy. And not only should we consider the content of the posters, but the quality of the photographs we use in social media. For instance, when posting a photo on Facebook, make an effort to ensure that you are using a quality camera to capture every moment. It goes in handy. And maybe just to mention some of the things which are posted in the social media, one of them being videos. And at one point, we might create adverts or promotion, that is. And one point, in fact, when creating these things, we ought to consider the audience or the consumers of this content. For instance, looking at WhatsApp, the maximum time limit of any video goes up to 30 seconds. So when doing an advert, at one point we ought to consider having a video which is 30 seconds long, as brief but passing an information. And when doing Facebook stories, we are having a maximum of 10 seconds. So we ought to consider that when creating adverts for passing information. Yeah, and going forward, I'll mention things to consider when doing designs before I usher in one of us who will take us through one design, just a simple one to begin with. Yeah, and one of the things to consider, what tool is available and what works for you. And at this point, I would mention wakati tulikuwa tunaanza, there was kuna a slide which had something imeandikwa, what is that in your hands? And at one point, when God was asking Moses, what do you have in your hand? And he said, a staff. And that which you have is what we are purposing to begin with. Personally, at one point, in fact, I began doing designs using Microsoft Word. And at one point, in fact, as we proceed in these trainings, I might share with us as well. So any tool, we have Canva, we have Poster My Wall, which we'll be using today. We have Adobe Suite, Adobe Photoshop, we have Illustrator. We are having many Adobe suites, and we'll be handling them as well. But one point I'd like to mention, not only should we just have those posters, at one point you might realize that the size in KBs of those posters may go up to sometimes MBs. So we might have to consider having them smaller, not in just size which we observe, but the size they have on the storage side. Yeah, so Canva is a good tool to use for that. One thing Canva does, the same as YouTube, it compresses the size of a poster or an image, but still maintains quality. So that's one thing we want to consider. Then something about the branding and the logo. As I had earlier mentioned, that we ought to have consistency. At one point, ukiangalia poster yoyote ya Focus, you'll be able to tell that if at all you not find many colors, you'll find blue and orange. That's a consistent color. So at one point, even when you don't have that logo with you and you see those colors, you'll actually know that you are interacting with a Focus poster. So branding is very key. And as we had earlier seen, 90% of active users of social media go for branding. Going forward, how do we use colors? And I'll quickly mention this. We are having colors, and at one point, don't have too many colors in your designs. And just to mention, black and white. Most times we don't consider black and white as colors, since black is absence of color, then white is presence of all colors. So we don't really consider them as colors. So at any given time, when we're using black and white, those are colors which are acceptable at any given time. So for instance, on this slide, we can just say that we are having three colors. We are having three colors, and maybe just to point out that this blue is one, this orange is two, then finally we have a light blue color here on the logo. Those are three. And a picture, and one thing just to mention, a picture is not a color. Yeah, so we ought to really consider that when designing. Yeah, and the things I've mentioned are projected. Yeah, so we ought to consider how we mix the colors. And the color might depend on, actually it might depend on the occasion. Yeah, so try as much as possible to even use those pictures appropriately. At one point, don't use, for example, maybe we are having something like an event or a topic on Holy Spirit, but the picture you are using doesn't marry with that topic or doesn't rhyme. Or at one point, maybe we are going for a retreat, but the photo you are using on that poster is of a person worshiping. So that's that might not be very appropriate. So with that, allow me to usher in one of us, who will help us in designing. Yes, Saitoti, you're much welcome. If you can hear me. Yes, Saitoti, you can go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we can now get you.
Thank you.
Maybe you can use the other device which you are earlier talking on. Yes, I thought we can't hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
So when using Poster My Work, you just need to first, if you have the photo of the preacher and
We lost your voice.
If you log in, it will show you several templates of flyers. So you're going now to choose the one that will fit the kind of details you have and the kind of event that you're going to create a poster for. For example, if for us, if you can choose to take one for Bible study, just go down and look for template that may fit Bible study. Or if you're not ready to scroll down and look for it, you can just search on this search bar, search Bible study. It has brought to us a number of templates that basically they have details of Bible studies and the background photos. They have Bibles, so they will be going hand in hand with what we are looking for. So for example, for us, we can choose the one that may catch your eye. That's I think we can go for one, let's say the one with a photo or one without a photo. For example, if you go for this one, after you select the template, you click the edit design. Then now here, what you'll be doing is simply replacing the photos, the logos with yours now. For example, if this one we are going to is the logo, we can replace it. And here now you have your own photos. Here you will check the photos that you have. For this one, these are the photos that I've been using. But if it is a new photo, you'll go to upload photos here. You'll press here and then it will take you direct to your gallery. Then you'll check the photo that you intend to use. But for us today, let us just use one that is here already. Let's find a logo that we'll use to replace that one with it. Then after selecting, you just replace it, replace photo. If you see the cropping that it is making your logo not look as the way you want, you don't go for the option of crop, go for the option of don't crop. Yes. Yes. See now our logo is here. You can zoom it out and zoom it in. You can move it to any place that you want on the design. Yes. Let us just place it at this end. That is FFK. And the name of the church, you can change here and indicate the name of that church and change the name as it is on the template. For example, this is FPFK. We call it FPFK Dove Hope. Anything else? For example, if it is an online session for you, it will just remain the way it is. You will just be there changing things that will not fit your program. And here then the account Facebook for the person that is going to use it, just indicate it. In this case, it will be FPFK. And then for this one, we can move it up to this end. And you can zoom it in. Yeah. Any other thing that you need to change, you just have to change it. And if you have, this is just replacing and changing statements that are already on the template. If you want to add anything, you just come on this side. If you want to add a photo, you add a photo from your photos. You can download a photo online. The links to download online photos always come here. The most preferable one is Pixabay. This is the one that I usually use most of the time. And another one is FreePic. This way is a FreePic, freepic.com. You can get nice photos. That's just the link. Here you can Google, for example, here, let's say a location icon. Just bring you several icons for the location. This is where you usually use to indicate the venue. Instead of writing venue, you bring the location icon, then it will indicate the venue. When choosing these online photos, take the photos that do not have the background. This kind of photos, the background of it is like it is dotted white and gray, do not have background. But for this one that is totally white, it has the background, and it will bring issues to you while you're using it. So such photos do not have backgrounds. You can add one. Yeah. That's how you add it. And if you want to add any element, you can add it, a shape, a sticker, yes, a code, a text that is not, the template does not allow you to add it. Like there is no place on the template that you can just edit. You can add a text, you can add a plain text, they are all the same. Then add a slideshow or a menu, any other media that you want to add. Yes, this is the line to add them. If you want to change the background, you come and change it from this side. Then after finishing, you now save it. Then it will automatically give you the option of downloading. Now our poster is here and it is ready. For poster my wall, there are several disadvantages. Sometimes the poster its clarity is not so much clear when you're using the free mode. And also poster my wall cannot allow you to remove the background of the photo. If, for example, you have a photo of a preacher and you want to remove the background, poster my wall will not allow you to do that. So when you want to use poster my wall and you have a photo of a preacher, what you do, you first check the photo of the preacher to Google, then go to www.removebg. When you upload your photo here, it will remove the background. For example, if I take one of the photos from here, let me check this one. It will remove the background. And then you download your phone. Then now you go back and use it now on poster my wall, and it will work conveniently for you. For example, we can take our poster again and add it. here. Example, you have now to continue editing. Now, because this is a sample, we can when you have your photo like this, it looks weird. For example, you can see the photo is just down, the line is just straight, it is cut. We want to hide this one. Come to this side of the first, then you see the edge effects here. There are none. You can change the edge effects and it will help you hide these kind of photos that are just cut straight. For example, if you use the awful one, it will help you now hide it. And you can see how our photo can fit anywhere on the poster. And it does not show that it has not been cut. That is one of the effects that can help you, and you can change it to any effect that fits you. And other things that you have to know is if you want to change the font of the text, you just come here again. You can see the fonts are here, the styles, the opacity, you can take the opacity down. Now you cannot see it because the opacity is at 0. You can bring it up to 100. It will be very clear. You can make it bold. You can change the size of the text. That is where you can change. It was at 515. Now it is at 530. Yeah, and then also spacing of letters, you can do it here. If you want letters that are much spaced, you space it here. See, and if you want to bring them closer, you can also do it here. Yeah, I think that is what I have for today. If there is any question, then I'll welcome it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Saitoti. Maybe is anyone of us having any question? You can pose it. You can just unmute and speak it out, or rather you can also type it via the chat section. If you are okay, we can type, or we can have a thumbs up or type something on the chat section so that I can know we are all good.
Yes, we are following you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Dickens, I'm seeing also Samuel is giving a thumbs up. Yeah, I believe, yes, thank you, Derek. I believe there is much into that, but for today, that's all we had. Unless there is any other thing, we'll be having various sessions going forward. Yeah, so feel free to ask questions and inquire where you've not understood. But apart from such a session, you can also take time off this platform to share in the group and where you are stuck, you can also inquire. Yeah, so thank you for even being patient up to this time. Sorry, we began late, but trusting that we'll be keeping time going forward. Yeah, so thank you so much. Allow me to invite a Glory, if you are there, to close with a word of prayer. Thank you so much, Saitot.
Yes, so let us pray. Lord, we are grateful for the session that we've had, for what we've learned today. We pray and ask you that for sure we shall continue to practice these things and learn more and share together what we